Hello there and welcome back to the channel. My name is David.
And my name is Claudia, and today we are going to be working in our studio.
I love all those knickknacks and decorations.
It builds character. Now, this is the creative space for doing multiple garden chores. So today we're going to be potting up the Eden Rose. The Eden Rose cut-ins were taken in early November of last year. And today we're going to pot it up and get it into the greenhouse. The environment which this rose grew over winter was quite a surprise. I've never done this before. It rooted on top of a heating mat and some grow lights. And this is what we have today. So the root systems are very strong. We have 4 cut-ins, and I'm going to be potting it up in some rose food, which I purchased for the mother plant that's in the garden today. Now, during the winter, the original leaves never fell off, but came March, the new leaves started growing and the root system became stronger. So I was quite pleased to be doing this experiment, and from here we will take it to the greenhouse and it will go into the next phase of growth.
And that was just plain tap water, no fertilizer?
No fertilizer, just plain tap water. Because at the time, I didn't know what to expect. It was just taking 4 cut-ins and saying, I'm going to put these cut-ins in a jar, which a lot of our friends donate their jars because I'm always taking cut-ins, giving cut-ins to friends and relatives, so I always need jars. If I don't have time to root or pot up something right away, I put it in a jar of water. So this is one of those things where I put it in a jar of water and it just continued to look amazing throughout the winter months.
No, it's great. It looks like a tablespoon of rose food. You were very specific on the amount you measured in there.
I'm trying to follow instructions.
I do that again.
On my cooking.
Right.
Or a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But okay, now we have a little bit of water, and we're going to put my first cut-in in. And look at that. I was so thrilled that this time it worked for me. I have tried doing cut-ins before, but not indoors. I would leave them in the greenhouse in a jar of water, and it would just sit there and rot. Literally.
So
that's what has happened in the past. I have no idea. Maybe my cut-ins were better samples.
Was there a specific place that you cut it? Like above the...
I tried to cut it where the buds would be. But all 4 survived. All 4. So this is like winning the lottery 4 times. Yay! Yay! So anyway, it's nice to be out of the wind. Spring haven't quite arrived yet here in Ontario. We're still having warm days and cool days. I have absolutely no daffodils to put on the table for Easter. However, I draw great pleasure from being in this place where I can continue my garden in my happy space indoors.
Well, you're not getting your hands dirty. The gloves help not just to stay clean, but the roses still have thorns.
They do have thorns, and I fight with myself to keep my gloves on while I'm doing this because I need to feel the plant.
Right.
But yes, roses do have thorns. And here we go.
Yep. And so they go out to the greenhouse until the end of May.
Yes, the end of May is the time for us in Ontario, Southern Ontario, our Zone 6. The safe time to plant outdoor is May 2-4 weekend. The Eden Rose that we have as a climber in the garden today is very special because it was the only rose that survived the ice storm of 2013. All my roses died that winter during the ice storm. And one Eden rose suffered a lot of damage, but the other Eden Rose was still doing well. This climber was planted against a brick wall on a trellis, and I think the warmth and protection of this rose did very well in getting through that ice storm. And this is what it looked like years ago. It's still there, but it has a much better trellis now. Arbor was built for this rose.
Makes all the difference in the world.
Makes all the difference in the world, and it's very special to have a baby from that original. And this is the story of our Eden Rose. It's been with us for quite some time. We had it about 4 years before the ice storm.
Here in our home, we really love our marmalade, and the jars help out in the sprouting of these cuttings.
Here we're looking at Purple Heart, and every year I try to get samples of a variety of different annuals so that I can have them again for the next year. It saves a lot of money in your container displays by just, cut-ins from the year and seasons before. So I grew and took cut-ins, and I have root systems that I can just pot up and give them a couple of weeks to get settled in, and I will have them to put in my containers come spring.
And how many cuttings did you get here?
I have quite a few, and I have more, but these are the ones that were left in the jar throughout the winter months on the grow mat. I have more Purple Heart indoors, but I can't bring them all indoors. I don't have enough space inside the living room window for all the plants. So a lot of them was left on the right side of the studio on the other workstation under the grow lights and mats. So these were the Purple Hearts from that.
And they've also done very well.
They've done very well. I don't have a lot of expectation. I just wanted to have fillers and spillers for my containers for outside, but I didn't want to have to go to the nursery and spend a lot of money when I could take cut-ins from the ones from last year. So the goal is to just overwinter it enough so you have something to start from again next year. So I try to keep the cut-ins small. And even the ones that I have inside the house, they're in small pots. They require very little maintenance just to keep them alive throughout the winter months so you can get them back outside again.
Well, the back of the house faces the west, so we get the afternoon sun in the living room and the kitchen. So it's great for indoor plants and overwintering plants.
Yes.
So what do we have here coming up?
This is an ivy. It's a cut-in that was placed in soil over the winter, and that was also placed on the heated mat with the grow lights, and it did very well. Very, very tiny cut-in. And as the temperature got warmer in the studio, so did the plant. So I'm braving the wind and the inclement weather to get outside and plant some pansies because they're just so beautiful and they usher in the spring season. And therefore, I need to get the pansies in the containers for Easter. And, I envision this beautiful pansies and warm spring weather that we haven't had just yet.
And then we just got to stop the squirrels from digging everything up. Then we have to replant everything again.
Yeah, that's reality. But I still want the pansies planted. So, I tend to use little old flatware that are no longer in use. I use them in containers like this because they have very small scoop. Right. And I could get the pansies in there. So that's what I'm digging with here is an old spoon that's no longer in use. And I tend to put them and repurpose these flatwares for my gardening.
And this was one of our Christmas urns that we had with the spruce cuttings from last fall.
Yeah.
You're just changing it up.
Mm-hmm. I keep those spruce cut in right into May. They keep their color and their fillers, and I just need to put in a little bit of color in between them. I love the blue spruce, and it does such a wonderful job in creating a garden container presentation until the weather warms up.
Well, the colors work well together.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are planting pansies at the front door, right by the porch. We usually get heavy winds from the west-northwest, but our front faces the east. So this is a rare heavy wind from the east. And it's a real challenge, as you can see there with the anemones off to the right. Claudia is here digging away, getting ready to plant the pansies. And the squirrels also love this area as well, eh, honey?
Yeah, but I was destined to get this planted because I wanted to have a beautiful display for Easter.
And just the very next day, in fact, I found two on the ground, and maybe the squirrels were digging up something they had buried in there. But you know, that's the way it is, as you had said before.
You work with nature.
You work with nature, exactly. So everything is slowly coming around. The weathers are slowly getting better. Having some issues with those pods there, but I think we left it maybe a little too long.
They're rooted quite deep, and it was a struggle getting them out, and that's why I needed to plant them as well, because they will dry out if you don't get them watered. So the container is moist, so I know they will be okay, and pansies just love the cooler weather. So they are going to do just fine no matter what. Even if they're out here in the exposure before May 24th.
I think we had them here last year, didn't we not?
We plant pansies every year. We usually try the icicle pansies, planting them in the fall, but I couldn't find any in the nurseries last year. So these are just pansies that we picked up in one of our earlier videos, and I couldn't resist bringing them home.
And given the right weather conditions, I think last year they lasted all season long.
They did last all season long because the exposure they were planted in, which is this location, gets partial shade, and they look vibrant right into August.
Yep.
Because they never get exposed to those harsh August sunlight.
No, we'll be taking out those spruce clippings eventually.
Yes.
And
May 24th weekend.
Anything else you're putting in this container?
Yes, we're putting in summer thrillers, fillers, and spillers.
Oh, geez. Even I'm picking up on the lingo. Like everybody else that's a gardener, we're waiting for things to come up, but we got started by cleaning up and uncovering the fountain and watching the robins play around and the squirrels busy doing what they're doing. So we're just waiting, and as things come up, we're going to take care of them.
Yeah, we uncovered the benches and just take a look at any problems that arrive over the winter, you know. Root systems if they were being exposed, and We took a trip into the greenhouse to check on things there. The tulips are doing well. They're coming up quite nicely, and the hellebore that I purchased in March seem to be doing quite well. Not quite ready to plant that in the ground yet, even though this is a perennial.
I was going to ask. It's a perennial.
It's a perennial, but so are the herbs that are overwintered. They're in the back. They're not ready yet to go out, but I'm so anxious to see color in the garden that I couldn't resist getting some fresh flowers for our Easter table,
And making your own bouquet.
making my own bouquet.
And with that, we'd like to say thank you for watching at This Garden Bliss.